George Orwell imagined a world where people were constantly watched. The scary part isn't that his prediction came true exactly, it's that we volunteered for it.
Agree.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
There's a good chance that before you clicked on this video, your phone already knew that you were going to. Not because someone's sitting behind a screen spying on you, but because modern technology has become incredibly good at predicting what keeps our attention. It knows where we go, who we talk to, what we search for, how long we stare at a photo, what makes us laugh, what makes us angry, and sometimes it knows what we're going to do before we even decided. That sounds like science fiction, right? But it isn't. It's just the internet in 2026, and that's what got me thinking. Back in 1949, George Orwell imagined a world where people lived under constant surveillance. A world where information could be manipulated, where truth became blurry, where fear and control shaped everyday life. His novel was called 1984. Today, people throw that title around whenever they don't like a new piece of technology. Facial recognition? 1984. A new privacy policy? 1984. An app asking for your location? 1984. But is any of that actually true? Or are we completely misunderstanding what Orwell was trying to say? Because after spending weeks reading about surveillance, algorithms, AI, targeted advertising, and the technology we use every single day, I realized something. The scary part isn't that we live in Orwell's world, it's that we built something different, something he probably couldn't have imagined. Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow, the first thing you reach for is your phone. Before your feet even touch the floor, you've already checked notifications, the weather, your messages, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X, Reddit. Without thinking, you've already generated new data. Every tap, every swipe, every pause, every search, every app you open, all of it leaves a tiny digital footprint. Now multiply that. Multiply that by billions of people every single day. That's one of the largest collections of human behavior ever assembled. Not by one company, not by one government, but across countless services, devices, and platforms. And most of the time, we're perfectly okay with that. Because the trade feels worth it. Maps get us home faster, music apps recommend songs we'll probably like, shopping sites remember our sizes, streaming services know exactly what we'll binge next. Convenience has become the currency we use to pay for personalization, and usually, it's a trade we make willingly. I want you to think about the last time an app asked you, allow location, allow microphone, allow camera. How many of us actually stop and read why? Probably not many. Most of us hit allow. Not because we don't care, because we just want the app to work. And honestly, that's understandable. Nobody wants to spend 15 minutes reading a privacy policy just to order food, but those little decisions add up. One permission isn't a big deal. Hundreds of permissions across years. Now that starts painting an incredibly detailed picture of your life. Not just who you are, but who you're becoming. This is where a lot of people make a mistake. They imagine someone sitting in a dark room, watching them through their webcam. That's not usually how modern data collection works. For the most part, companies aren't interested in watching you as an individual. They're interested in patterns, groups, trends, predictions. If millions of people who search for one thing also tend to buy another, that's valuable. If people who stay up until 2 a.m. watching videos are more likely to click on certain ads, now that's valuable too. Your individual data often becomes more useful when combined with millions of others. It's less about a person watching you, more about systems learning from behavior at enormous scale. That distinction matters, because it changes the conversation from, am I personally being watched, to how is information about all of us being collected and used? So, what did Orwell actually warn us about? Most people remember one phrase, Big Brother is watching. But surveillance was only part of the story. The bigger warning was about control. Control over information, control over language, control over reality itself. In 1984, history could be rewritten. Yesterday news disappeared. Old photographs were altered. If the government changed its story, well, the records changed too. The goal wasn't just to hide the truth, it was to make people question whether objective truth even existed. Today, we're obviously living in a very different world. Governments, journalists, researchers, and ordinary people can all publish information online. But the internet has introduced a new challenge. Not too little information, too much. Thousands of articles, millions of videos, AI-generated images, AI-generated voices, deepfakes, conflicting headlines. Everyone is competing for your attention, and when information moves this quickly, figuring out what's true becomes harder. Not impossible, just harder. So wait, if technology isn't controlling us the way Orwell imagined, then what's actually going on? Because the next thing we need to talk about might be even more powerful than surveillance. Algorithms, the invisible system deciding what billions of people see every single day. Okay, so if our phones aren't secretly spying on us in the Hollywood sense, then why does it feel like they know us so well? The answer is usually not in surveillance cameras, it's prediction. Prediction has become one of the most valuable products on Earth. Think about this. When you open TikTok, you aren't searching for videos. The app is searching for you. Within minutes, it starts figuring you out. Do you stop for funny videos, cars, politics, history, cats, gaming, conspiracy theory? Whatever you choose, it notices. Not because an employee is sitting there watching, but because the algorithm is. Every second you spend watching, it's information. Every swipe, every pause, every scrolling past something tells the system something about you. If you watch a video for 3 seconds, it learns one thing. 30 seconds, it learns something else. Watch the whole thing, even better. Left a comment, shared it, and now it's getting confident. Before long, your feed starts feeling like it can read your mind, but really, it's reading your habits. YouTube works much the same way. Have you ever noticed you watch one video about history, then suddenly your homepage is full of documentaries? Watch one video about Linux, now every recommendation is Linux. One conspiracy documentary, suddenly you're recommending 10 more? The algorithm isn't asking what's objectively true, it's asking what are you most likely to watch next? Those are very different questions. So here's where things get interesting. Because algorithms don't have opinions, they don't wake up in the morning deciding who should win an election, or what movie you should watch. They optimize. That's it. Their job is simple. Keep you engaged. If outrage keeps people watching, well, you'll see more outrage. If drama gets clicks, you'll see more drama. If fear spreads faster than facts, fear often gets rewarded. Not because someone necessarily wanted that outcome, but because that's what it performs best. The algorithm follows incentives, not morality. So let's imagine this. 2 headlines. The economy improves slightly, or the country is falling apart. Which one gets clicked more? We already know the answer. Humans are naturally drawn to danger. Psychologists even have a name for it. Negativity bias. Our brains evolved to notice threats. Thousands of years ago, ignoring danger could get you killed. Today, that same instinct makes shocking headlines incredibly effective. Technology didn't invent human psychology, it just learned how to optimize around it. Now think Orwell again. In 1984, the government controlled information directly. One authority decided what people were allowed to see. Today's internet is different. Nobody decides everything. Instead, millions of algorithms are constantly deciding what appears first, what disappears, what trends, what goes viral, what gets buried beneath millions of other posts. That's a different kind of influence, but influence nonetheless. You ever just pick up your phone and check just one notification and suddenly 45 minutes disappeared? You probably weren't planning on that, and neither was I. That's because many apps are intentionally designed to encourage you to keep interacting. Infinite scrolling, autoplay, notifications, streaks, recommendation. These features aren't inherently bad. Sometimes they're genuinely useful, but they also happen to keep us engaged longer, and in an attention economy, time is money, and every extra minute matters. Now here's the part that surprised me most. We're often worried about privacy, but attention might actually be one of the more valuable resources, because if someone can consistently influence where your attention goes, they influence what you learn, what you believe, what products you buy, who you vote for, even how you spend your free time. Not by forcing you, by nudging you. Tiny decision after tiny decision until eventually you don't remember making that choice yourself. And I'm not here to say that technology is inherently evil. You know, algorithms recommend music I'll probably love, and they help me discover some creators that I would have never found otherwise. They help those small creators reach millions of people. They make life easier in some cases, but like every powerful tool, it has some trade-offs, and understanding those trade-offs is becoming one of the most important skills in the modern world. Because everything we talked about so far, phones, algorithms, recommendations, that's only the beginning. The next technology is changing even faster, artificial intelligence, and for the first time, the internet isn't just showing us information, it's creating it. So, is modern technology becoming Orwellian? Maybe, maybe not. Orwell couldn't have predicted smartphones, artificial intelligence, or social media, or recommendation algorithms, but he understood something that still matters to this day. Power doesn't always come wearing a uniform. Sometimes it comes wearing convenience. We willingly carry devices that know where we are, we willingly allow companies to learn our habits, we willingly trade our privacy for speed, for personalization, for entertainment, and not because we're forced to, because most days it just feels worth it. And that's what makes this conversation so complicated, because technology isn't evil, your phone isn't evil, artificial intelligence isn't evil, they're tools. Some of the most incredible tools humanity has ever created. They've connected billions of people, helped solve diseases, made knowledge available to almost anyone with an internet connection. But every powerful tool changes the people who use it, sometimes in ways we don't notice until years later. Maybe the biggest lesson from 1984 wasn't about surveillance, it was about paying attention, questioning the systems around us, protecting objective truth, and refusing to become so comfortable that we stop asking questions. Because if Orwell taught us anything, it's that freedom isn't something that you lose overnight. It's something you slowly stop noticing. Maybe we never noticed.